Hello and welcome to the Clock End Talk, an Arsenal podcast. I'm your host, Tez. You can get me a Gurner Tez. You can get the show at the Clock End Talk, and I know you guys are thinking, holy fuck, we're back. It has been a long time. We actually had a little extended Christmas break, and I lost track of days. I lost track of games. I've got kids at home. We're doing holiday stuff, and it's like, Tony, what the fuck's going on? How are you, brother?
Yeah, I'm good. I just want to put it out there that neither of us have been to prison, and no one has assaulted their girlfriends or their girlfriend's lover or kidnapped them. So that wasn't due to our break. Well, I mean, I haven't. If Tez disappears again next week, then we can start asking them questions.
Arsenal Twitter has been going off. I actually popped in for a quick little chat. You and Schwinn were discussing as well, because I think Schwinn, I haven't heard or seen from that guy for a long time, and I think he's at his new job in Thailand. Shout out to Schwinn. But you said Arsenal Twitter has been crazy for the last 72 hours or so, mate. Fill me in. What's been going on?
Yeah, so over the weekend there was I'm trying to even remember it all, to be honest. I mean, firstly, obviously the game against Tottenham got postponed, and then there was loads of backlash against that. And where Arsenal Twitter is usually busy fighting each other, be it Arteta in, Arteta out, or they should sign this player, not that player, and blah, blah, blah. I love Aubameyang, I hate Aubameyang. It was more, everyone was sort of united in basically hammering all the journalists that were trying to criticise us. And then Jamie O'Hara, who's a TalkSport presenter, who used to play for Tottenham, actually used to play for Arsenal youth team, started hammering us, so everyone went back at him, and he's got a bit of a checkered past, shall we say. So everyone started hammering him, and he deactivated, so that felt like another win for Arsenal Twitter. And then, so that was Sunday. So this is like Saturday was obviously the backlash against Tottenham. Sunday was a Jamie O'Hara, and then Monday, which was yesterday for us, the news about DT. I don't know how else I can put it. Came out. So then that was another joyous day for Arsenal Twitter. I'm not celebrating anyone getting injured or whatnot. I hope his ex is okay and blah, blah, blah. I know it happened a long time ago, so I'm not celebrating that part of it before anyone comes to it. But yeah, good riddance to him.
Yeah, look, I don't even know where to start on that one. I really don't. So I'm going to quickly sideswipe that, because I will end up saying something that'll get me in this shit. Guaranteed it. So, but it's crazy to even think that, and shout out, look, I don't want to ditch them too much, Arsenal Fan TV or whatever they're called now, AFT Media, like, I don't, where do they stand in all this? Like, because I've seen tweets saying that, you know, they put out a little thing, but then they took him back on in January, and I'm so confused around that drama too, Tony.
I mean, I don't know for a fact, but they knew. They must have known. Like, I said to my group of mates that I go to pretty much every game with, I mean, you know what I mean? One might miss a game, but in general, we've got a group chat, and 90% of the games we all go together. I said, if I message one of them and it didn't go through for a week, not even they didn't reply, but it didn't go through, I'd be thinking, what's up? Like, is everything okay? And I would reach out to their friends and family who I may not know too well, but of course, when you're going with your mate and he's talking about his missus, I might not know her, but I know, like, your missus reached out when you was in hospital, right? Obviously, I don't know her. I don't even know her name, but she reached out because. So, how can Robbie, who's been going around the world with DT, he's been interviewing him all the time, I presume they've been around each other's houses and whatnot, just say, oh, yeah, I didn't know, he said he was taking time off. How are you not checking on your mate, or how are you not even messaging him saying, oh, mate, are you still doing okay? I know you wanted to go off the show, and not realising, oh, these messages aren't delivering for 3, 4, 5 months. It's impossible. As I said,
Crazy,
like, you within 3 or 4 days of you like going into hospital, we'd all noticed that the messages weren't going through. We was all trying to search what was going on, and then your missus reached out or saw messages we'd sent you and replied to them. So I don't understand, but I mean, I'm not really here to bash them, but in my opinion, they must have known.
Yeah, it's crazy to even think, and what becomes of that now? Like, what do they just roll on and as if nothing's happened? It's all
They
just
should.
I
They
know.
will do. I mean, how many times has something happened and we're like, oh, that's got to be the end of them, and it never has been. But
Never. Yeah.
I think DT's sons come out and said they knew. I think someone else who I'm not sure if it was his dad there's a message from sent to Arsenal Fan TV in November saying, right, Robbie is from someone with the same surname as DT, saying, oh, as you know, Liam was sentenced last Friday. So you got messages from the family, and that's just on Twitter. So what's going on WhatsApp or in DMs? Like, it's not my place to know or care, to be honest. But if someone said to me like, "Where's your money on?" it would be going on that they knew.
And the only reason we bring it up is, let's face it, they are the biggest fan interaction with Arsenal supporters and or even
Not even.
football
I don't even think
supporters.
with Arsenal. I think with.
Yeah,
I'd probably say with any team. I was actually
yeah.
having this argument the other day that I said Robbie's done unbelievably, and I said no, he's not. And I said, look, I don't like it,
Mm.
but you can't deny that the thing's huge.
It's
Has he got there the
massive.
right
It's
way?
massive.
In my opinion, no, he hasn't got. But I mean, like this is the DT thing is in every newspaper. Like it's not just Arsenal Twitter that knows about it. This is in like our mainstream newspapers that go across the country.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's
That's
news. It
crazy.
is news.
Yeah, yeah. And it was same, within in the past of different things that have come up. I think there was been, there was, don't quote me, racial slurs and things like that over the past where they stood down, a member of the member of whatever it is that they run, um, but it always makes news. It doesn't make our newspapers over here, but let me tell you, like we do see a lot of the Sun and things like that. They're running stories on it all the time. So it's crazy. It's crazy how big that channel has become. I don't even know another channel that is as big as it. I have seen a Chelsea channel pop up. I don't know how many they views and things they get, but I couldn't even
No,
tell you any
really.
other channels. No, I couldn't even
No, but
tell
that's
you.
the thing. Like, so well, you could. The only other one you know, and because I know you've mentioned it, is the United Stand, which is Mark Goldbridge.
Oh yeah, yes,
Um,
yes, yep.
but this is the thing with Arsenal Fan TV. Fans of most clubs can name two, three, four, like I don't know, characters, whatever you want to call them, Troops, DT, Liga, blah blah blah, Robbie. Whereas the other ones, you might know one or two. So I know Mark Goldbridge. Obviously, I don't know who he is. I don't really know anything about him, but I know the name. I couldn't tell you anyone else that's on that. So that's where Arsenal Fan TV is clearly the biggest. And in a way, as I
Yeah.
said, I don't like it. I don't really like the way he's gone about it. But you've got to say he's created something huge. And
Massive, yeah, yeah. Well, on that on Mark with the United Stand too is he is a character like dead set, and that's what makes him. I watch him because it's just funny. Like he's I don't know the guy from Borough Soap, but he comes across like a genuine bloke who's bringing in raw emotions to whatever's happening at Man United, and it's a lot of United fans hide their head like we do with Arsenal, and AFTV. But yeah, it's not a bad channel. He built that on his own too, so I think. But I'd never see any other characters there like Arsenal Fan TV.
no, but
The
I
the
think I'm not 100% because I don't know anything about him. But I think he was on something else, and then he was
oh, okay,
popular, so he went and made his own thing.
right,
So a
okay,
bit like if DT had his own show now before he was getting bummed in the showers.
yep,
Um, that like so if you've just heard of him then you might not know Arsenal Fan TV or whatever. I think
yeah,
that's what
yeah.
happened, but I don't.
No, okay. Do we send him some soap on the rope or what?
I mean, I'm sure people will
He's
be
there for a
having their
while.
way with him. Well, that's not sure to be fair,
Yeah,
because
okay.
he got a year initially and he'd already served 5 months of it and was let out. So this is where a bit of the controversies come is that he was let out in late December and then he was at the Arsenal City game and went on Arsenal Fan TV, which is where the controversy comes from. And then on the 13th, they re-sentenced him. So I'm assuming they've dragged him back in for an additional 2 years. They'll probably serve a year of that, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's all you get
Well,
over
that's
here.
with
That's
good
for good.
behaviour, but I think it'd be difficult for him to have good behaviour now it's so public because he will be a target.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, let's go on to a little bit of Arsenal stuff. Mate, I am seeing everywhere, and I'm talking transfers for a minute. The young bloke, young striker, I can't even think of his fucking name.
What,
But
Fiorentina?
yeah, yeah, that young bloke. What's his name? V.
Vlahovic. Yeah,
Vlad. Yeah,
Vlahovic.
that's him. Yeah. I. What am I going to say? This is gonna cause a little bit of controversial. I don't know where your head is on this. Because I haven't really spoke to you boys much in the group chat, but I do watch a lot of Roma. I watch a bit of Serie A and stuff. He's a young 21-year-old striker who I'm not sure if he's what people want him to be. Like, I get his age, he's young, he's not bad, but he's no Aubameyang or a Harry Kane or anything like that. Could he be? Maybe. I don't know where this one is, though. I'm not. I don't know if he's the player we need, but yeah, that's just my opinion. What are you thinking of this? If it does happen,
Uh, well, I've got kind of two separate issues. From what I've seen, and I've not seen tons, but I think he's possibly the perfect type of player we need because he's big, strong, he's quick enough, he can hold up play, but then he'll also get into the box. Um, so I think stylistically, he is the perfect type of player. My issue comes with I'm not buying for a second that we're going to get him. Like, I maybe it's just I'm naturally pessimistic, so I don't want to get excited by things that aren't going to happen.
yeah,
But essentially, there was one story linking us with him, and now we're seeing a different report every day, but they're all saying the same thing in a different way. So they're all basically saying, "Oh, Arsenal have agreed a fee, but there's problems with his agent, or the player's not sure." But there's actually not been any new information since day one. I'm just
mm.
not buying it at all. Look, I hope I'm wrong because, as I said, I think he's what we need in a sense, but I just think the story's nonsense, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, on that side of things, I'm a little bit like you. I think Italian players they're a little bit like the German players. They want to play for Juve. Germany want to play for Bayern Munich. I don't understand what it is, but that's their goal. Like there, for him to want to come over to Arsenal, Arsenal's not going to be his final move. I doubt it. Like, let's face it. Like, we're no bloody Real
Well, I mean,
Madrid
sorry,
or
but
anything. So
the thing is, he's not Italian. So
yeah,
the
yeah,
Juventus,
true.
like the thing is, he's only 21. The Juventus obviously were dominant for so long, but say since he's been 19, they haven't won the league. They're not going to win the league this year. They didn't win the league last year. They've not really got any big names at the moment. So
Mm.
I don't, and as I say, because he's not Italian born and Brit, like he wasn't brought up there.
Yep,
I
yep,
don't,
yep.
and I know that's the latest story is that he wants to go there. But
Yep.
again, for me, where's that come from? Someone's just decided. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
saying he wants to go there over us or he would love to come to us over there, but I don't see why he would have that pull of Juventus when, as I said, essentially they've been not very good while he's been there, and as I said, it's not like when they still had Ronaldo, even though was it last year they came fourth, but still had Ronaldo. If you think a player might go there, I'm thinking fucking hell, me and Ronaldo up top, we'll get 300 goals, and there's a pull there. But now who? Like, okay, Chiellini, but he's getting on. He ain't going to be there long. Bonucci's similar. Dybala's got 6 months left of his contract. He might sign, but you're not going to Juventus with star-studded players that you've dreamt of playing with.
Yeah, it's funny. It really is. Like, I just, yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to think where else he would want to go. That's what's, yeah.
To be honest, I would imagine the Juventus stuff is the Italian press getting pissed off about us going for Arthur.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Yeah, could be right. Could be right. It's going to be an interesting one, and we've got 2 weeks left in the window, so I guess we just watch this space because I'm seeing rumour after rumour after rumour. It's been the only player that.
But actually read them and nothing changes. It actually pissed like
No, you're right.
I've
You're
said
right,
it a
actually.
few times in the group chats. They keep every day there's a new update, and I'm like, but it's not different from yesterday's update. It's just worded a bit differently. And
Yeah,
like
yeah.
literally, I feel like I'm the most boring man on earth because I just go in the group chat and moan that they're posting the same story again and again.
You are a boring man. Um, who else is
I
there
mean,
though? Because you're not going to let that slide, are you?
well, I was going to say
um,
I'm popular on Twitter now, so I can set my followers on you.
yes, I see that. You are a popular man now. Um, who else is there? Because I kind of see at times Arsenal do this. You know, they leak a little name like this, and then all of a sudden it's a left field signing that we have no idea who it is or never even heard of the bloke. So is there any of them that you can see, you know, that Edu's been working on in the background that you think, oh, maybe, like, yeah, maybe, yeah. I don't know, you know, like any Portugal player or somewhere there in a, you know, anywhere there, like you're thinking, oh, fuck,
Well,
that
no, I
shocked us.
mean the Arta link made a hell of a lot of sense, and I don't know. Again, it seems at the moment like it won't happen, but it made sense. I mean, if you'd have asked me on January the 1st, I'd have said we're not signing anybody. But then since then, we've let so many players go that we're just so light on bodies. We just need players in, and look, we've been helped by Partey going out, so we presume he's going to fly back and potentially be available for Sunday. So it helps. It brings a body back, but then we've still got Xhaka suspended. We're so close to only having, like at the moment, as of right now, Sambi's our only midfielder. Even when Elneny comes back, it's like you've lost Ainsley, you've lost Kolasinac, you've lost Mari. We just purely need bodies. So on the 1st of January, I would have said we're not going to sign anyone. Now I feel like we have to, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's no one that anyone knows of or cares about. The only reason the Arta link made sense is like he's a good player. He wasn't getting minutes there. It looked like we could have got him on loan, and you're getting a decent player. That's why it made sense to me.
Yeah, it's you know, I'm just going through different notes that I've written down over this January window that there's not even you know, that I class as names, like, you know, that earlier in the piece there was a Frankie DeLong rumor, and I seen that pop up again today, and things like that. But I don't even. That's a no for me. That's not even happening. Um,
No, I mean the other one that again I don't think it will happen, but the other one that made sense to me was Wijnaldum on loan. His wages will be higher, but if
oh
you're only
yeah.
getting him for 6 months, we know there's a decent player there. He's Premier League. He's used to it. He's played there for what 8 years before this year, or however long it's been. He's not having the best of times in Paris by all accounts, but who is?
Mm.
So that made sense. But I think he's out for a couple of weeks now, and it's just gone cold. I think that's one of the ones you could have probably got it done if that was what we wanted. So I'd imagine that's not going to happen. But they're the kind of signings that would make sense to me. Someone who either isn't going to cost a lot, or you can get them short term. They will improve your team. Um, they're the kind of players that I expect us to go for or be linked with.
There's a couple of strikers that did pop up earlier as well. Diego Costa, which I was rolled my eyes at. He was one, and Luis Suarez. Is there any chance anywhere there? You think, like a loan or anything?
No, I mean Diego Costa must be 85 years old by now.
I was
Uh,
thinking, how old is he? How old is he? He must be,
um,
yeah.
Yeah, it's actually interesting. So I've been out all night, which is why we delayed the show by an hour. And I was just while I was waiting for you, I was just flicking through Twitter, and I saw that Gerrard's contacted Suarez, obviously ex-teammates, to try and get his Villa. I mean, he wouldn't. He hasn't. He wouldn't. He's at his best. He's a top draw player. I'm not sure he would suit. And at his best, he would suit. It'd be exactly what we need now. In terms
Oh,
of
it'd
like
be
his pressing,
perfect.
his carrying, but he's
Yeah.
not at his best anymore. Um, he hasn't got the legs for it. So no, I can't see it at all.
Mm-hmm. It'd be good. I wouldn't mind him. I actually wouldn't. And you know, it's sad to see how we're talking. Like last year, we're saying we got. Oh well, maybe last year, year before, we got a Lacazette, we got an Aubameyang. You know, that position was pretty sewn up, and here we are January 2022, and we're scratching our brains for another striker. Like, no team in their right mind with a Lacazette and a Aubameyang, you'd think, would be looking for a striker. Like, I just fucking
I mean, but
dumbfounded.
you can kind of count Aubameyang out. And then it's weird, like we're
Yeah.
so dependent on Lacazette at the moment. And again, anyone that's listened ever knows I'm not really his biggest fan, but I'm not his biggest fan at all. But he's been playing quite well, and we're really dependent on him. You know, it's a huge difference when he's out, mainly because the drop off is so big to Eddie. Um, but that's what you're looking at. You're looking at a Lacazette that can't play too often. As said, Aubameyang we may as well disregard. So then your next
Mm.
is Eddie, who can't link up the play, doesn't misses chances, doesn't score enough goals. Like the drop off is so huge, and I'm not talking like if we had Haaland and then the drop off was big, you'd be like, well, okay, that's expected because Haaland is unbelievable. But we've
Yeah.
got Lacazette, who for me is bang average, maybe a touch better than bang average. But then the drop off is to poor.
Shocking, isn't it? Shocking. And
Yeah,
that Balogun kid, I seen him go on loan, which is great. Don't get me wrong, I'm liking that he's actually getting some playing time, and it'll be good for him. But that must be, between him and Eddie, I'm like, where? Shit. Like, wow. You know what I mean? Like, Eddie is the bloke we're leaving. I fucking dumbfounded, mate. I really am. Um, I haven't watched enough of Balogun play, so I don't know, how good that he is as well. But yeah,
no, I
between
mean
that,
the difference
he must be.
is
Yeah,
it's not that. It's I mean, look, I think Balogun's massively overrated, but it's that he's young and he's under contract, so we can afford to send him out to go and get minutes. Eddie's contract's up at the end of the year, so I mean, I know the club want him to sign, but with him being that bit older, he's not going to go out and get experience elsewhere. So you try and build Balogun more up for the future and get him game time elsewhere. I know he came on for Middlesbrough the other day. They were 1-0 down and they won 2-1. I don't know if he had anything to do with it though. Um,
hmm
but yeah, I mean, look, in that sense, it makes sense. But what has, and I don't want to say harmed us because I think we're actually playing really well, but I think Gabby playing on the left was never sort of really the plan, and he's been sensational. I think I'm not sure if it was I mean, he won our Player of the Month. I think he got Player of the Month. I'm not 100% on that. But I think the plan would have been, obviously, if everyone stayed fit, it would have been Smith Rowe stays on the left, and if Lacazette's injured, Gabby, or that's where Gabby would get his minutes up top. But that's not been the case, and rightly so. Gabby's been excellent, and Smith Rowe
Yeah,
hasn't
he's
been
playing
fit.
well. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Where am I going? So the striker's done. Midfield is very fucking loose. Very. Well, we're fucking flat out finding bodies there. Where are we? Where are we there? Are we even looking for a midfielder? Is there any
As I said, I think we have
reports?
to be. I think we're desperately in need of. As I said, we've let Ainsley go. We know El Neni's not good enough, and he's gonna. I don't know how Egypt are doing in their group. I haven't watched much of AFCON, but you presume they're going to go through. So he's going to be away for some extra time still. Okay, we've got Partey back, but Xhaka's out for 2 games. Um, I mean, at the moment, as of right now, because Partey's not back yet, our midfield is Sambi and fuck knows me maybe. I don't know. You might get a game.
Yeah,
So, and I know
I'd
that's
right.
only short term,
Yeah,
but
it's.
we've
Mm,
lost the body in Ainsley. We know El Neni's got enough, so it's not good enough saying, "Oh, but we've got El Neni there." He's been there anyway, so we definitely need another body. And it's like even Sambi, we saw like he's young, and what game was it he didn't play? Forest, he was poor, but everyone was. That's it's not a dig at him, but like we can't be relying on basically playing the whole season with just Xhaka and Partey because our next in line is Sambi, who is young and very inconsistent, and that's not his fault.
he's
We
just a
can't
young
rely
player.
on that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So look, it's 2 weeks to go, and let's just hope this gets sorted. We get a couple of players in. They have to. I thought actually, I've seen other teams, and I thought Arsenal would have been sorted to be announcing players before the African Cup of Nations. I half expected January 2, Arsenal were going to pop up with a player, and I thought it was going to be a midfielder, and I thought it was going to be a nobody who I've never heard of, who can just fill the body or fill the space in the midfield. That's literally I thought. Like, and here we are. What, the 15th, 19th of January, and fuck, scratching our fucking heads, mate. Okay.
That has been helped. That has been helped by a massive lack of games, though.
Yeah. I guess, yeah. Games were called off and things. How are you guys travelling over there with all the COVID and stuff?
No one gives a shit.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Couldn't care less.
Well, we're struggling over here at the moment. I think there's a lot of
Yeah, but you're struggling is so I think I don't even check anymore, but we're still having loads of cases, but just in general, people don't care, which is the way I think the way you're going to have to go. Whereas you have 4 cases and you shut the whole country for a year.
We sent the little Serbian tennis player on his fucking back on his way. Fucking, that's where I've been, the last couple of weeks. Me and the boys had to go down to Melbourne and fucking make sure that bloke couldn't get in the country. So that's why I've been fucking missing. But anyway.
You make it sound more like you've been in prison every time you speak.
Okay, last month, form-wise, how have you seen us going? Because I caught a couple of games, and one was, I'll be honest, I was very impressed with the Liverpool game. I thought going down to 10 men against Liverpool, wow, how the fuck did we manage that? I'm not going to get into the granite debate with you because I'm like, it happens. That's the game. The other one was that Nottingham Forest or something?
We were shy against them.
Yeah, we were shocking and lost. Yeah, that was the other one I caught, and I was like, oh, fuck, really? And I don't even know how we didn't win that, or I don't even know. I've not seen a worse performance from Arsenal. So in this last month, for me, I've seen some excellent performances, and I've seen that performance. So how do you think we've been travelling?
To be honest, if we go back to basically since we've last recorded, I think we've been very, very good. Like I can't remember if we recorded after the West Ham game, but we were very good. We beat a good team. Like I mean, for a long time now, people have been like, "Oh, it's West Ham; they're going to slip up." But they've been in and around the top 6 2 years in a row now, so it's not a bit of luck. And I could see when we beat them, like we beat them well, as in it wasn't a hard game in terms of. So, I mean, it wasn't end to end. We're battling like we deserve to win, is what I'm trying to say. But you could see they're a decent team. They're a good team. We played really well there. What happened? But Leeds before Christmas, I mean, it doesn't even count as a game because Leeds played their 12-year-olds. But again, we've done what we had to do. We went and won comfortably. You go away in the Premier League, you win your game 4 or 5-1. Like you can't argue. 4-1 it ended up. Then we go to Norwich on Boxing Day, 4 right backs out, and you think, oh, Norwich are a bit shit, but 4 right backs is not easy to deal with, and we just battered them 5-0 easy, like just swatted them away. It wasn't a contest.
Yeah.
Then the Wolves game gets postponed, not ideal because we're playing well. The City game is the best I've seen us play in a long, long time. Lost 2-1, obviously down to 10 men for half hour. But we came out of that game with so much credit, not just from our own fans, but everyone realised. I think Guardiola even said after the game we deserved to win. I'm not 100% on that, but played really, really well. So you think, oh yeah, things are on the up. Then we go and play Forest and perform like absolute shite. Honestly, one of the worst performances I've seen from us for a long, long time. Just done nothing. Not a single player you could say played well. Literally no one. Or maybe Leno, to be fair. And then we go up to, obviously the Liverpool game gets cancelled, and we go up to there with a load of absentees, and we think sort of we're in trouble here. And the performance was sensational. To be honest, this is not. It's going to sound like a criticism of him, and it's not. We was actually better with 10 men, because I think with 11 we was trying to play and getting caught and allowing them to, do you know what I mean, win the ball high up and have decent attacks. When Xhaka got sent off, and this is not a Xhaka thing, but we went down to 10, so we automatically sat deeper, changed to a back five, didn't try and play so much, just got rid of the ball and chased it, or tried to work it wide and let Gabby and Saka run with it. And we looked excellent. I think they had one shot on target in the 90-something minute. Their big chance, Minamino missed an open goal, but Saka, his chance is as good, maybe not as good, but not far off it. Both of them, they should be scoring. There was a time where, to be honest, I've not seen the replay, but Gabby and Alisson were on the touchline running for a ball, and if Gabby nicks it over him, and he has an open goal, but they ruled him out for a throw on anyway. We looked as dangerous as them with 10 men, to be honest. And look, you can say, they didn't have Salah and they didn't have Mane, which is true, but the players, I'll be honest, I had their team early that day. I think I tweeted it early, but I had it very early. I put a ton of money on Liverpool. Like, as soon as I saw the team, I was like, Arsenal have no chance today. For people that don't know me, I didn't lose anything because that's not how I work. But I was just like, a Liverpool win is inevitable today. And MAA has just said 10 men gave us a clear plan, and I completely agree. And I think it would have been the same if it was anyone sent off. I mean, it happened to be Xhaka, but I actually thought it was a lot better. I also thought that Sambi started the game off terribly when we had 11 because he was trying to play and getting caught. And then I thought once we went down to 10, I thought he was excellent. And I thought they were all excellent. There's not a single person. I thought Chambers started off shaky when he came on, and I thought he was excellent. There's not a single player that I would even want to criticise from that out of the 10, to be honest.
Yeah, sorry, mate. I am back. I am, buddy. No, I agree, and I got lots of like the Mane bloody Salah thing. A lot of people said, "Oh yeah, but they were out." Well, you don't play the guys that's on the fucking pitch. Like, what do you want us to do? I thought we were really good against Liverpool. I was actually shocked. I was so shocked, and I didn't have a bet on that game. Most blokes know that. I tend not to bet too much on Arsenal. But if I was expecting a 3-3, maybe 3-1 or a 3-0 for Liverpool. You didn't mention there, we played Sunderland.
Can I just say quickly? MAA has just said that Ramsdale was dodgy. I completely agree. It was his worst game for us. But how bad when he only had to make one save? But I agree. I said to my mate during the game, but I never say things until after the game. If someone's playing well, I won't say anything because they're about to get sent off or score an own goal or something. But literally the first thing I said after the final whistle went was that was Ramsdale's worst game for us. But then I think with his kicking, he couldn't play out from the back because we weren't trying to do that. So then he was booting long, and they were making him kick out of his hands. And from what I've seen in general, his kicking out of his hands isn't as good as kicking on the floor. Again, because he didn't have any shots to save. I mean, how good can a keeper look when they can't play out from the back?
He's being harsh.
And they don't do, well, no, I think he flapped at a few crosses and stuff. As I said, it was my initial reaction, so I agree with him. But how well can you play when you only have to make one save and you can't really play out from the back? You can just have to boot it along every time.
Mm-hmm. So we go on to... So when do we play them again? Because that game's popping up, but then it's been postponed again.
So 2 days from now. So it'll be over 2 days from now.
Yeah, okay. Because I'm so confused on what's going on with our fixtures at the moment. So Tottenham game has been postponed, and we look like that could happen maybe next week or the week after.
Well, no, so it's a weird one. So I'm going to be really pissed off. So we're meant to have a break from this Sunday until we play Wolves on, I think, the 10th of February, because we're not in the FA Cup. So I've booked the holiday. Now, I heard a rumour earlier, I don't know how true it is, that they're going to try and put fixtures during that break. If they are, it potentially means I'm going to miss Tottenham away, which I will be fucking furious at. Because I've booked the holiday when we've got no games, and then to miss that, which is like one of the biggest ones, would be an absolute joke. But I mean,
is it international break? Is it international
It's a
break, this
weird
break?
one. So no, not really. Well, sort of. It wasn't. It was meant to
Okay.
be a winter break, and then and only a week because then there's meant to be the FA Cup the week after. But
Hmm.
obviously, the Africans are African Cup of Nations.
Yep.
Brazil, I don't know what's happening in South America, but they've announced the squad for that week. So I'm assuming most South American teams are playing. So I don't
Hmm.
really see how the league can rearrange games then if you're going to have no Africans and no South Americans. But there's no
Hmm.
European break. Those in England aren't playing, Italy, France, Spain, whoever.
Yeah. Well, they might play. That's strange. It's yeah. Because I didn't even realise until we started this show, and you went, yeah, I booked a holiday, and I'm I'm away till the 10th, and I went, oh yeah, fuck, okay, yeah, we do have a break, but I couldn't, wasn't sure what it was. That is a bit poor though. So fans are going to the games, so I wonder whether they, because that's a massive game, like that's a massive derby game, so tickets and things, they just all doesn't matter, I guess. Tough luck.
Well, no, because it was postponed obviously the day before. We already had our tickets and stuff, and they remain. So if you had a ticket for the game that was meant to be on Sunday, they just stand for whenever that game is. Um,
Yeah, okay.
so nothing changes in that sense. It's just when they name the game. But as I said, we've got two to catch up on because we've got Wolves at home as well. Um, the thing is, it can't be the week. I'm a bit confused with the dates. It can't be the weekend of the 6th, I think it is, because Wolves and Tottenham are both still in the FA Cup. So the only possible would be the weekend of the 29th, 30th. But as I said, with Brazilians and Africans away, I'd be surprised if they put games there. But I heard a little whisper today that that's what they're consider. They're not going to have a
So,
winter break for teams that have games to catch up on. But there's teams like Burnley that are about 6 games behind. So maybe they're thinking more in terms of them, and I think Leicester are a load of games behind as well, rather than teams that have got one or two to catch up on.
Tottenham have a couple though, don't they? Because they had one. I remember they were one of the very first ones, and then they had another one
Yeah,
afterwards, didn't they, or something?
yeah. So they've got a catch-up game tomorrow, Leicester.
That's one,
That's one
Leicester.
of the
Yeah,
games. That's a catch-up
yeah,
game.
yeah. Was it Liverpool as well? A Liverpool game or something?
No,
Yeah,
they played
yeah,
Liverpool. I think Liverpool was their first game back after. Um,
yeah.
so I
Okay.
think that they had Burnley called off because of the weather, and then I think they had 2 games called off for COVID. One of them Leicester, and I think they had another one, but I'm not 100%.
Yeah.
And then obviously our one as well.
Fucking hell. It's fucking a mess, isn't it? Absolute mess.
Well, I mean, I assume we're going to get into it. The rules are a joke. Our game, like by the rules, our game was right to be called off. In reality, and I might be in the minority to say this, it's absolute nonsense. We should have been made to play, but every other team has got away with it. So I don't blame us for putting in the appeal, but the rules are a joke. We had one COVID case at the time, and I think we got one more after. But we've got the game called off because players are injured, which that happens every year. The players are at AFCON. We knew that at the start of the season. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
understand the
yeah.
rule is like 13 outfielders and a keeper, but there's got to be reasons for it. Because otherwise, you get and the same. I had the same complaint when our game against Wolves got called off because they had at the time 4 cases, but their squad's so small that took them under the threshold. It was
Mm.
bollocks. It's absolute nonsense. Like
That is. I
youth
agree with you.
teams,
I agree.
youth
It's
teams
shit.
and academies and whatnot are there for a reason. Like imagine in times gone by the amount of players that wouldn't have made it if you could have just got games called off and then broke through and made their name and then become a player. Like as I said, I don't blame Arsenal, but I think it's absolute nonsense that the game was called off.
Yeah, totally agree. And our squad is it's so light. Like I sit there scratching my head, going like, did you not realise Party, Aubameyang, El Nani, who else is over there in that
Pepe,
African Cups?
Pepe.
Pepe. Like, did you not know at the start of fucking the season these guys are over? They're out for January. Me and you
Well, it's not
fucking
that.
knew it.
And obviously, they loaned Balogun, they loaned Ainsley.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Like
another one. Yeah.
their
Hold on to them
decisions,
until
we
next
we
week.
didn't. Yeah, like and Mohammed's just said the reason was we had 11 COVID in December and that took its toll on injuries. But that's something that the FA released because of the press backlash. Because the rule is very simple. If you have a significant COVID outbreak or you can't make 14 men, or one keeper and 13 outfield players, the game's off. So I think we had 12 and they've gone, okay, it's off. And then because of the press backlash, they had to say, oh, it's actually COVID related. There's actually, in terms of the 14-man rule, there is nothing to do with COVID is in that rule. So you could, if you had however many
Yeah,
injuries,
that's
that
right. Yeah.
still, because it happened to Leicester and Burnley potentially.
Yeah.
Burnley is a bit unclear, but Leicester, this is where the rule is ridiculous. They played an FA Cup game and beat, because FA make you play. We don't care, you've got to play. They beat Watford 4-1, another Premier League team. They then had their game 2 days later called off because they didn't have 14, what in terms of the league is recognised as 14 players, even though they beat a Premier League team 2 days before.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with TV rights deals. I would imagine they would be looking for some kind of compensation or something soon
I
if
don't.
it
I
keeps
don't
going.
think. I don't know. As long as the games get played, I don't. Look, they're not going to be happy about it, and that's the reason people are going. Oh, why did they pick on Arsenal? It's because Arsenal Tottenham round the world is a
Oh,
huge
massive
viewership
game.
venue. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, like as I said, the same week, Leicester. I'm not sure if it was Leicester Burnley. Leicester someone last week got called off for the same reason, even worse, like as in less cases and whatnot. And no one picked up on it. No one cared. You don't even hear it mentioned. But our game, because it gets the viewership, everyone's talking about it. All the journalists want to have a pop to get their clicks. Sky Sports are going mad about it. Gary Neville was moaning about it. And then when people went back, he's saying, oh, it's not an Arsenal problem. And everyone was like, well, why didn't you say it 3 weeks ago when XXX game was off? He's like, oh, well, I should have done. Well, that's not good enough because things don't get changed on what should have happened. If everyone made a big deal out of it 3 weeks ago, when it first, or a month ago, whenever, when it first started happening, maybe they would have changed the rules by now and everything would be sensible. But just waiting until there's a big game that actually affects Sky Sports' pockets and then moaning about it ain't going to work.
MAA Gunner, do you think Neville cares more about getting paid from the game? He's a moaning
No,
cunt, isn't he? Like, dead set.
it,
That fucking Neville.
not. No, as I said, Sky are doubly pissed off that it's off, and Neville says what Sky tell him to, essentially. That getting paid from the game, he's going to be on a yearly contract where he gets a certain amount, whatever. To be honest, so it's not directly going to affect his pocket. But when the people are above him are moaning about it constantly, that's the view that you're going to take in, unless you're strongly against it. If you're in a room with 30 people all moaning about the same thing, unless you're really, really strongly against that thing, you're just going to join in with the moaning.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Shout out, Rick. How are you, buddy? He's just joined us. Um, I was going to ask you, yeah, who for you so far has done the best deals in the window? Who's the team you're thinking, fuck, they've strengthened?
Well, I mean, it's been pretty quiet as standard. Uh, Probably Villa, but I don't know
Mm.
what Coutinho's got in him. I know that he's had a great debut. Digne is Digne. He's going to be good going forward and shit defensively and get booked every week. That's what he does, but he's a good player. Uh, so you got. I mean, look, I'll go with them because I don't think anyone else has really done anything relevant. Wood, I don't think is the best signing, but what it does do is relegate Burnley. So now Newcastle only have to be better than one team. Norwich and Burnley are down, I would say.
I was going to
And then
say to you, I was actually just quickly on you when you're on that because that's massive news over here because the Kiwis are fucking like, yay, we've got a $50 million player in New Zealand dollars. I know it's £25 million, but so it's massive news over here, right? And we're close to New Zealand. I looked at that and I thought, are they someone? I like Chris Wood, right? I really like Chris Wood. He's not a bad player. But are Newcastle being cheeky here? Are they signing Chris Wood to eliminate Burnley? Is that what we're looking at here? And I don't care how much it costs.
I think it's a bit of both. Like he is
Yeah.
a good player, as you said, and he gets goals in the Premier League. Is he worth
Yeah.
25 million? No, but as I do think it's a bit of both. Like, they've not completely. It's not like they've signed someone who they're just going to put in the reserves just to relegate Burnley. Like he will play for them. Um, So I think it's a middle ground. Like, could they have done better? Of course. Like, of course they could have signed someone better. But as you said, I
Sneaky,
think
eh?
it's a bit of both worlds.
As sneaky as all fucking little cunts. Yeah, no, that was Newcastle. They are a bit of a worry. I don't know if obviously they've got to try and stay out of relegation, but do you see any more big signings from them this window?
Well, I literally, again, when I was on Twitter waiting for you to join, I read, and I don't know how true it is. I don't even know who tweeted it because I was just scrolling through quickly. That Diego Carlos, the Sevilla centre back that loads of people were looking at before, has told Sevilla. This article said he's told Sevilla he wants to leave to go to Newcastle, which again, they're really weak at the back. Trippier was a good signing for their level, and to get a proper centre back in will do them a favour. I mean, I spoke to someone at Tottenham earlier who said that he doesn't know for sure, but he thinks Newcastle are looking at Dele Alli, but Levy doesn't really want to strengthen, basically help them survive, and then they could be a rival next year. Um,
Oh,
Again,
I think
that
they
could
will
be,
be a rival.
huh?
I think they will be a rival for everyone. I think like they will
So
spend
yeah, but
money.
that's what it's saying. So
Mm.
it was an agent who works closely with Tottenham, but obviously he's an agent saying those things. And he said a lot of the big clubs are reluctant to help Newcastle. So I know they inquired
Yeah.
about Martial from Man United, and Man United wanted a 6 million loan fee for 5 months and full wages paid, obviously, because they're just like, well, we don't want to help you, but if we have to, we're going to fucking get paid for it.
Yeah. Um. Okay. Anything else you want to? I feel I'm with you. I think Villa have done pretty good. I'm shocked to see Coutinho head that way. I really was. I thought, wow. Um. And I know why. Obviously, the manager and him, it's like putting the old band back together. I guess. And
Well,
if
it's
Louis
also
comes
who else may
over,
in for him because his agent links him with us and Tottenham mainly all the time. He links in with everyone, but
yeah,
mainly
yeah,
us and
yeah.
Tottenham. But and they said, oh, he chose between 4 or 5 clubs, but who were they? Like, let's be honest. And did
That's
he
right.
really,
Yeah.
or did he just have Villa? Like, who
Mm.
knows? But Villa their owner's ambitious. He's willing to spend money, so I'd imagine they're covering most of, if not all, of Coutinho's wages. So for Barcelona to accept that, it would have been a no-brainer. So look, I'm not saying he's a bad player, but did Villa really beat anyone to him? Was the Gerrard effect like? Imagine Chelsea when I'm not saying that I'll just pick Chelsea out of thin air, but if it was
Yeah.
Chelsea or Villa, would he go, "Fuck Gerrard, I can't understand the Scouse accent anyway. I'm going to Chelsea."
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. That's
so
right.
people are
Mm.
going on about the Gerrard effect, and of course it's helped. Their teammates, they probably WhatsApp each other. But yeah, if it's your mate Steven Gerrard versus Chelsea or your mate Steven Gerrard versus Burnley, then there's different answers.
You know what shocked me the most about that deal is the option to buy at the end, £31 million. I read, and I'm like, fuck me, like he's still young, Coutinho. Like he's still a young player. Like he's not, he's. I thought that
But
was.
Bayern have been trying to sell him for ages and trying to get his wages off. Sorry, not Bayern. He went on loan to Bayern. Barca have been trying to sell him for ages and get his wages off the book, and he's not there. He's still there. Sorry. So
Yeah.
I think, especially with Barcelona at the moment, they only really care about wages because they're going to fiddle
Mm,
some books and have money for transfer fees anyway. They always do.
they always do.
But it
Yeah.
seems the wages they can't really get around. So they're just looking to get wages off the book. So the 30 million's a
Mm,
bonus that he's probably on 300k a week because they signed him for so much, maybe more. I don't know. So it's the same as like getting Griezmann back to Atletico was a horrendous deal in terms of like they paid 110 for him and basically lost him for nothing, give or take.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
they just got I think he was on 900k a week, so they got that
So
off the
just
books.
get it off
That
the
seems
books.
like
Yeah.
that's all Barcelona care about at the moment.
Well, they done it with Louis too, didn't they? He went to
Yeah,
Atletico.
Suarez.
What?
It looks
Mm,
like Dembele is going to go at the end of the year, who's another big earner because they paid so much for him.
yeah.
So it seems like they're just trying to get their way out of trouble financially just by absolutely slashing the fuck out of their wage bill.
Jeez, who could we pick up from Barcelona?
Well, that's the
um,
issue is there's not anyone left.
there's no one left. Okay. Any major predictions? We're going to be back after the Wolves game, as Tony said earlier. He's going on holidays for 2 weeks. I'm actually going on a little 5-day holiday on
Back to
Saturday.
prison.
So we will be back after the Wolves game. That's the plan. And then we'll get more consistent. Everything goes back to normal for me. So, yeah, anything in your crystal ball, Tony? You're going to lug it around for a while. The next 2 weeks. Do you see Arsenal signing anyone, or do you think it's going to be a dead window?
Yeah, so I was just going to say, obviously, we're not back till way after the window's done. I think we will we'll definitely get one in. Will we get two? Yeah, I think mm, two. I think we'll get two in by the end of the window.
Hmm?
And MAA has just said, do you think we'll play Burnley? Or will it get postponed? It won't get postponed from our side. Um, to be honest, another reason why I think the Tottenham game was nonsense is that Tomiyasu was training, he was listed as one of them out. Smith Rowe was training, he was listed as another one of them out. Odegaard obviously missed Tottenham with COVID, he's back now. So I think Saka was down as a knock. I think he had the Tottenham game been made to go ahead, our team would have been a hell of a lot stronger than people were thinking. Um, but obviously it wasn't. The only issue we'd have had is midfield, which is the issue we still got. I think Odegaard will play deep on Thursday. So yeah, from our side, Burnley will go ahead. From their side, fuck knows. But I think they're 6 games behind already. So I think the league will try and push them to play where possible. But he said they only had 8 players training yesterday. So who knows? But yeah, so yeah, from your side, from what you asked, Crystal Ball, I think two in.
Two. Yep.
From MAA's question, yeah, I think it probably will go ahead, but I'm saying that with no knowledge of Burnley at all.
Okay. Just quickly, I just want your thoughts before we wrap this up. Benitez sacked from Everton. Is that who replaces him there, and what happens with him now?
I don't know if he does anything now, to be honest, or not in England anyway. In terms of them, before he was sacked, the day before, they obviously lost to Norwich, and my first thought was instantly Rooney. He's doing a really good job at Derby under
Okay.
horrible circumstances. So apparently they want to interview Lampard as well. I don't see that as a good fit. Rooney will get time. He's obviously an Everton boy. He gets the area. He gets the culture. He's an ex-player twice. I think he's still their youngest goal scorer. I'm not sure about that. The only
Mm.
thing is, would he want to stay at Derby? But their financial situation is such a mess that the answer is probably no. I don't know if you know. I think they got a 20-point deduction, and that and they lost a load of players in the transfer ban and all that nonsense. But then they've been really good, and they're bottom because of the 20-point deduction, but they're only a few points off the team in front of them. And he's just done really well there. But I know they lost 2 or 3 players this week because their financial situation. So I think he probably would jump ship. I've just seen Rick say on read to Everton. He would only be second in command to Benitez. Apparently Benitez is keen, but Belgium don't want to let him go in a World Cup year. They don't want
Yeah,
to
I've
let him do
seen
both
that.
jobs.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
seen that.
again, it's
Yeah.
another one I don't think is a good fit. It ended badly before. The problem with Rafa was that this was always going to happen. As soon as it
Mm.
went a little bit bad, it was going to be, he's just Liverpool. He's a Liverpool agent. You know what I mean? He's doing Liverpool's work for them. And it was obvious. And I think with Roberto Martinez, if they got him, as soon as they have a bad run, it would be, it's happened again. Why have we rehired him? We've seen this all before, blah, blah, blah. Um, So, again, but Moshiri's made some fucking bad appointments since he's been there. So I wouldn't be surprised if he
It's
goes.
been a shocker. Yeah. I read 5 or 6 managers in 5 years, or 6 in
I
five, or
can't remember
something
the
like
exact
that.
number. But
Fuck.
it's not even that. It's
Yeah.
like the styles. They've gone like complete. So they had like Marco Silva. Then they went. This might not be the right order, but then they
Mm.
went. Who was like play out from the back. Then they went Allardyce, who's obviously long ball. Then they went Koeman. Then they went Ancelotti, and you're like,
That's right.
again,
Koeman was
that
there.
order's wrong, but their style, it wasn't like they tried to keep similar styles. They went from like A to Z every time.
Mm.
Um, so I think Martinez would be a bad fit, and I think Rooney. And I heard someone suggest it yesterday, and I think it's the right thing. Tell Rooney we're in a mess. You've got 3 years or 4 years, so no pressure. Like basically what Arteta's done with us, and I know we gave him a lot of pressure, but like start a rebuild, get rid of the deadwood. It might take 2 years, and look, if you come in worse positions, in like we've come eighth twice, and our fans are fuming about it. There was never a bit of pressure from the board because I think they've said to him, "Look, you're coming in as a rookie manager. Basically, start from scratch." And I
Yeah,
think that's what
yeah, I
Everton
think
should
so.
do.
Yeah.
Like, say to Rooney, as a 4 year contract, and we ain't gonna unless something ridiculous happens. You know what I mean? Unless we're in a relegation fight, we ain't sacking you during this 4 years. Start so you can take a risk. You know what I mean? You can get rid of some older players that you're not are not going to fit our style.
Mm.
Um, that's what I think they should do.
Well, I seen Fonseca, the ex-Roma manager, was linked, but he seems to
He
get
gets
linked
linked
to
with
everybody.
everything,
I mean,
every
doesn't he?
single job.
Yeah, yeah. So I looked at that and went, fuck me dead. Like, that's funny. He gets linked everywhere. He was linked with Tottenham, Newcastle. Yeah, no, you did right. Yeah, Everton. I don't know where they go. Like, that what you said, Rooney does make sense actually. Yeah, Rooney does make sense if they do the 3 years or 4 years.
Well, especially
Um,
getting the culture, like he'll understand how the fans are because I know he went to Man United and whatnot, but he was a fan. Like he's an Everton boy, so he'll understand how they like. It's like because obviously they put Duncan Ferguson in interim charge again, but it's like having him but an actual manager rather
yeah,
than
yeah, yeah.
basically a cheerleader.
It's a crazy world, the old Premier League at the moment. It's fuck me dead, even football. I wonder, and the Arteta out fans and whatnot. I wonder if they're going to mention Rafa's name in the future. If and we're going to do it. You lose 3 in a row or something like that, and all of a sudden it's Arteta out again, and Rafa's available, and
I
it's going
mean,
to
it's
be.
not even. There's still people that are Arteta out as of right now. Like,
I
so
think he's
it's not
done
even
really
lose
well.
3 games.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
he's
do I.
he's done really well. And I was always like, I just couldn't see at the very start what he was trying to do, and I said like, I think it's time to move him on. What I've seen this season, I'm maybe trust the process is what we're being told. So, hey, sitting here and I'm trusting the process, and I think we're playing really good football. And I look at the players and I think, yeah, we're doing really well compared to the players we got. Um,
Yeah, as I said,
yeah,
it feels like, and it's what I just said with Everton, that they've said to him, "Here's however many years. You might have to take us backwards to take us forwards, but unless it's disastrous, we're gonna leave you to it." So finishing eighth, where loads of fans were pissed off, and all them performances we had that were absolute shite, and including me, I was never Arteta out, but I had games where I was like, "Fucking, this cannot continue."
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
they at the board level, they were like, "Well, fuck it. We've told him to take him that he can take us backwards, and there's no pressure."
Mm.
And it seems like that's what's happened. And I know people are going to go, "Oh, we've not achieved anything yet," and they're 100% right. We haven't achieved anything, but we certainly look like a better team.
I just quickly before I know I keep saying quickly before we go. MAA Gunner, he listed the Everton managers: Koeman, Allardyce, Silva, Ancelotti, and Benitez. Like, isn't that a fucking list of managers? And I look at that list right now, and I think to myself, you know who probably performed the best out of them was Big Sam for me.
Well,
I look at that, and yeah,
his remit was different because he was just like they'd started so badly, it was just keep us up. But I think one before that was Martinez as well. So you've got Martinez, who's complete pass and move, like obviously we saw
yeah,
him at Swansea. Then Coman, who's kind of pass and move from his Dutch background, but not so much, a bit of a mix. Then you go to Allardyce, who's the complete opposite. He's long ball essentially. Then you go Silva, who's more like Martinez. So you're going back 3 managers. Then you go Ancelotti, who they basically got him for a name and by all accounts doesn't do much coaching.
Mm.
And then you've gone Benitez, who's back defensive again. So it's like Benitez is most similar to Allardyce, who was 3 managers before him. Uh, Silva's most similar to Martinez, who's 3 managers before him. And it's like, what are you doing?
It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, MWA Gunner. Yeah, Allardyce saved them from the drop. And that's probably why it rings in my head so much. I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, as I say, I think he had the easiest job because they started the season horrendously under Koeman. I think I was at Koeman's last game. I think it was his last game. We beat them 5-2. They were a disgrace. Um, and I think that was his last game. And that would have been saying October, November, and they were in the shit. They were really bad. Not even I don't know where they were in the table, but their performances were an absolute joke. And Allardyce came in, and it was again as Allardyce always is. You've got till May, keep us up. It was
that's
five
right.
two, I
Arsenal
think. In the
5. Yeah,
I
5
think off
something.
the top
Yeah.
of my head, it was Rooney put them 1-0 up. We was in the black kit, and then they scored in the last minute. I think it was Umar Nias.
Mm. For those who are listening, MWA Gunner just said in the chat, Arsenal got Koeman sacked 5-1 and 5-2, 5-1. But yeah, it's a funny old world of football. Okay, buddy, we're going to go. We'll catch up in February after the Wolves game. We're going back on our extended break now. I know we've just popped in to say good day to everybody and throw out this little pod. My predictions, you said 2 signings. I'm thinking, look, 2 or 3 for me. I'm
Yeah, I'm torn
happier with
between 1
3.
and 2.
Yeah, you're
I'm
like
torn
1 and
between 1 and
2.
2.
Yeah. I'd be happier with two to 3. Realistically, fucking hell, who knows? Who knows? I don't even know. Like, I haven't really followed a lot on Twitter this window, where usually I'm looking at the Twitters, and I've seen a couple pop back only through the boys' chat. In the podcast chat, the boys are saying, Z's gone missing. Remember that bloke Z, and then Z come back, and fuck, it's a funny old world of Twitter, isn't it? Like, Mr. Arsenic or something it was. He was
Arsene,
another one.
yeah,
Yeah,
he came
Arsenic.
back. But they're
He
just
come back
aggregators. I
and
mean,
yeah,
I don't mind them. I mean, I've been
they're
on
good.
Twitter, and
They're
now I'm
good.
like, obviously, yeah, now I'm Twitter famous. I've been on it a lot. Obviously, I'm a superstar now, so just
Many
non-stop on
followers? How
Twitter.
many followers you got now?
Uh, 14.5, I think, 14,500.
Fucking Jesus! What are you paying these lads? Are you?
My
Fuck
nudes
me.
are valuable, mate. But no,
Wow.
it's not that. It's actually, I mean, without boring everyone, it's not the followers that's the thing. It's the impressions. Like, I know in the last 28 days, this I checked 2 days ago. In the last 28 days, I'd had 5 million impressions. So, like, 5 million people had seen my shit in 28 days. That's not actual shit,
Is
by the way.
is this Tony I'm talking to? Because like we've been doing this for 6 years, and we've both always said like I'll rattle off some stats to listeners and different things, and you're not interested in stats. I'll do it if one bloke listens, and here you are, Mister. Look at the fucking analysis on Twitter.
Mate, I want
Wow.
the blue tick.
Oh, is that what you? How do you? Actually, you sent me a message to apply for the blue tick, and I went on it. I have no idea how to apply for that thing.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
No, I see lots of people with it now. Lots of accounts that I think, yeah, you get that blue
Yeah, well,
tick.
that's what I'm saying. Like, so Clock and Talk's got more followers than me. Obviously, I can't check the interactions, but I know mine are like stupid amounts because everyone loves team news. Like, and you know as well, like, I've been getting team news for years. I just didn't know people cared, so I didn't really tweet it.
Yeah.
And then I started tweeting it, and everything's just gone crazy.
Yeah. No, cool. Okay, buddy. Catch up in February. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you for downloading, and thank you for finding us again. And those who have DM'd us, there's been thousands of fans DMing me. Where are you? Where are you? And I apologise. I'm here now. Thank you that you actually did care. Actually, it was funny enough. A quick shout out to a bloke named Gary or Barry or something like that. He jumped on the Patreons, and he just subscribed to find out where we were. He was missing the boys. So shout out to
Is
you,
that the
brother.
one that kept coming and leaving a group chat?
Yeah. He doesn't do group chats and things. So he popped up and said, Tez, mate, I don't do group chats, and I don't know if he's internet whatever, but yeah, he sent me a message on Patreon and said he missed the show. So
Fair enough.
Yeah. Tony will have to pay Tez soon. Fucking hell, won't hold me breath.
No, yeah, you shouldn't, mate. You absolutely shouldn't.
You'd be like you waiting for a beer off Schwinn.
Yeah.
Hey, goodbye, good night, and see you later.